Hi everybody, welcome back to the farm. Today we're going to take a tour of the pastures and I'm going to explain to you what we're doing to manage those pastures and why we grow grass in some and why one of ours is bare. Well, good morning, Clara. Can I come in your pasture? Say yes, Mommy. You can always come in. You're all familiar with this first pasture that I'm in right here. This is the barn pasture. This is the first one that we ever built. When we brought home Pumpkin and Virgil from the kill pen, we put in about a half an acre of non-climb horse paneling. And this pasture has been eaten all the way down to almost nothing. It's mostly bare. There's a little bit of grass here and there that the goats enjoy, but this is our bare pasture and we're not gonna reseed this. The main reason is because in this pasture right here, which we call our mini Mayberry farm, is because we have our miniature donkeys and our miniature horses in here. Now they have rotated through other pastures, but miniature horses and donkeys are incredibly effective grazers. That means that they don't need nearly as many nutrient dense grasses or hays or definitely not grain. And so to simplify their diet a little bit, we keep them in almost this completely bare pasture that is behind me right here. That does a couple of things. One, it really protects them from laminitis or foundering. And as you may remember, this past January, we lost our big Belgian mare. She was a kill pen rescue. She came to us with a very poor body condition, and we lost her just a few months later to foundering. Donkeys don't need a lot of sweet grass. They don't need a lot of grain. And so what they get is a little bit of hay every day, and really that's all they need to survive on. So this is the best pasture for them. There's plenty of room. They've got stalls right here, and our hay stall is right here. That gets opened up for a couple of hours every day, and that's what they eat from. So that's one way that I have kept the weight down on my miniature horses, who love to get nice and chunky, and so this is the best pasture for them. Oh my gosh. Look at them sitting in a row in the sun. Stop it, that's so cute. This is literally the cutest. All right, so just behind me here is our southern pasture that is electrified. We put T-posts in the ground and we have electric wire running all the way around it. Now, when we first brought the Tennessee walking horses home, this is the pasture that we put them in. And we have rotated the donkeys and the minis in through here after the grass got very short. This was overgrazed, and you know, hindsight is 20/20, but we really should have rotated out of this a lot sooner than we did. But you know, you get busy, and this is our first time ever owning a farm like this, and so we live and we learn. Recently, to fix this mistake, we have aerated and seeded this entire pasture. You can see a few places where it's finally turning green again, but most of it was just a huge mess like this. So the process that was that we followed is pretty standard for every. Oh look, they all came to the gate. They want to come in here because they think it's nice luscious grass. But after this stuff grows, we're gonna let this pasture rest probably until midsummer. Seeding and aerating and doing all of that is not only costly, but it takes time to help your grass get reestablished. So we brought an aerator in here, but the ground was super compact and super hard. Then a hurricane started coming. So I said, hey Scott, what if we aerate again after the hurricane, because we were just dumped on by a ton of rain. I'm actually gonna let Scott tell you how we did it.
Yeah, you should let that do it.
All right, so the last time we were out here, we had that aerator, and with the plugs we were going in and out. Well, some time has passed, if you can see, since the last time. The hurricane came through, so that's why things look a little different. But I actually took a different aerator. I took that one that I got from my dad, and I hooked it on the back of the John Deere and ran around, and you can see it makes pretty good holes throughout the whole yard. You can kind of see it. So I was able to go up and down all the way around. I probably got a good 95% of it aerated. There's a couple spots way up at the top there that I wasn't able to get. But so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through. I got some Kentucky tall fescue from Tractor Supply, 50-pound bag. And what I do is I put it in this little hand spreader. You know, it's enough land that I probably could use like one of those walk behinds, but this is good enough for me. You just pour the seed down in there. It's got a little lever here that regulates. Here, I'll show you. So you see, you just pour the seed down in here, and this little lever on the side regulates the opening right there. See how it's opening? And then that, you know, determines how much goes here in the bottom. And then you just rotate it. You spin it like with this handle. And it spreads it all over. So that's what I'm gonna do now. That thing held, I think held about 40% of that bag, so that was good. All right, I got it on, here we go.
Hopefully this will be a nice luscious pasture again so that we can rotate the Tennessee walking horses in and out of here. Okay, so we've just left the barn pasture and we walked through to the electric fence, and now we're in the southernmost part of our property. This is completely fenced in, and it's about 4 acres. We really only had to run a little bit of electric fence on that side way up there to close this in because our creek is over here. There's fence line the rest of the way around, and we just had to add a gate. So this is a huge part of the property. We don't really use it a lot right now, so it was easy to go ahead and fence this in and let the horses come in here and have access to all of this grazing land. We also use this, we have a deer stand, we also use this for hunting on this side of the property. Kids play down in the creek when it's warm. But what's really neat is some of the native flowers that are in this pasture. I have to take into account the flowers that I really want to preserve because of the local wildlife. One of those is milkweed. We have native swamp milkweed growing on our property that is host to the monarch butterfly. So we have seen some little caterpillars out here, and I'm sure it's already past their date to fly back to Mexico. So I'm sure that they have already migrated down south where they need to go. We also have tons of goldenrod. Goldenrod is a really resourceful plant to have on your property if you are concerned about your pollinator populations. So goldenrod is one of the latest things in the season to bloom, and the benefit to letting those stay instead of killing them down like we killed the horse nettle is that you're giving your pollinators some source of food and fuel into these colder months when everything else is kind of died out. So we're not going to be spraying in this pasture unless I see something that really has to go. There is some poison ivy down here. That's not bothering me right now. There's some kudzu that we took care of earlier in the year. And then we pull up Bradford pears by the roots. So that's how we manage this southernmost part of our property down here. I've accidentally just scared some deer off. The deer love this side of the property, and the main reason is because of this field right here. My neighbor Keith hunts on our property. He has a deer stand up here, and one of the things that he does besides laying out corn is he brings his tractor down and he tills this up and he plants all kinds of things that deer love to eat, like radishes and arugula and beets and turnips and all kinds of stuff. So he's got some fall crops out here right now, and I think the deer were enjoying it until I came walking through. So hunting season's going to be good because we're definitely bringing them closer to the deer stand. Here we are. This is the end of our pasture. I'm going to close up this gate. And here is a look at the pasture from up top. All right, well now I've left the barn area and I'm actually coming around the back side of our house. Right here I have these massive tea olive trees, which smell amazing right now, by the way. And, oh, there's the bunnies. and I'm gonna walk into our northern pasture. This is where the big horses are now. In case you're wondering, there's the barn, and here I am in our northern pasture up here. This is about, I want to say 2, maybe 3 acres. I don't really know how to measure acres, and even if I tried, I'm not good at math. So there we go. This pasture is kind of neat because we have a very established persimmon tree up here. Here it is right here. It's full of persimmons right now that are almost ready to eat. This pasture has already given us a little bit of trouble, and it's not from grass or having to regrow the grass or anything like that. It's because this leads up to the creek in one area that is kind of a very steep slope. Miss Thing right here went down it and was too scared to get back up it. And I will let Joelle tell the story here on YouTube if she wants to. But she was instrumental in getting the horse out of the creek, but she did get hurt. I'm very, very proud of her bravery that day, but very not proud of Charlene for not just staying away from the stupid cliff. I digress. Anyway, this is a lovely pasture. There's plenty of shade in here. It's very shady, and it's also got tons of the blue heron. Can you see it? I hope that I was able to get a little bit of it on video, but it was a giant blue heron that stays in our creek. Oh my gosh, that was exciting. Glad to know that we are such a hub for wildlife activity. Anyway, this is a great pasture. It's super shady, full of trees, full of really good grass. I'm about to rotate them out of here right now and put them back in the southern pasture because they've eaten it quite low. And the other pasture is ready for some munching on. So those are our 4 pastures. If we can just keep the minis and the donkeys where they are and rotate the quarter horse and the 2 Tennessee walking horses around a little bit here and there, that's what we're gonna do. There are a couple of horses that don't get along, and that causes me a little bit of angst because that means I have 2 pastures in rotation at all time instead of rotating through the other 3. If you know anything about helping horses to get along, I would love to hear your thoughts because I would love to use 1 pasture at a time. If that's just me, it may end up working well. Anyhow, that's the end of our video. Those are the 4 pastures that we rotate through, and that is how we manage the grasses and keep them from being eaten down to a nub. We are learning as we go, and we're having fun doing it. That's all for today's video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.